Have you ever been stuck on a weight loss plateau, trying everything and anything you can to lose that extra weight and reach peak health? We've all been there, but Noom's unlocked the secret to reaching the mountaintop. Go in micro. The Noom GLP-1 microdose program starts at $99 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your microdose GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom. Micro changes, big results. Noom GLP-1 RX program involves healthy diet, exercise, and support. Individual results may vary. Meds and personalization based on clinical need. Not reviewed by FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc., the only U.S. source of FDA-approved semaglutide. Not available in all 50 U.S. states.
Hey, listeners. I'm Mishi Harman, and this is Israel's Story. So, you haven't heard from us in a while. The reasons for that are many, most of them good, some of them less so. The bad, and hence the slight wincing, is a recurrent case of kidney stones, which has had me in and out of the hospital in recent months. The good, as much as we can talk about good these days, is that with schools closed, people prohibited from gathering, and all cultural events canceled, on the very first day of the war with Iran, we launched a dizzying array of storytelling events in Hebrew. For children, we had daily storytime hours with the country's most celebrated storytellers, like Edgar Keret and Shira Geffen and Eshkol Nevo. For adults, we moved our live storytelling moth-like events to Zoom and featured, from our bomb shelters, and every single week, lineups of the most talented storytellers who have performed on our stages over the years. We also hosted authors and filmmakers, and thousands of people became part of a vibrant online storytelling community. In fact, it created such a buzz that Galei Tzahal, Israel's leading national radio station, asked us to take over the late-night slot, and we did, airing dozens and dozens of stories to the entire country. While most of our activity in recent months has been local, and primarily in Hebrew, and hence the relatively long hiatus in releasing new English-language Israel Story episodes, we want to share the tremendously exciting news that for the first time ever, we're developing a slew of new shows that we'll start unveiling in the upcoming months. While the Israel Story we all know and hopefully love will continue, of course, new episodes will come out less frequently, more like a periodical. All the new shows, which will span a variety of genres and styles and come out more frequently, will essentially do the same as the mothership. Share stories that show Israel's endless complexity and nuance, introduce us to lesser-known communities and corners of society, and inspire us to recognize the vibrancy, resilience, and intricacy of day-to-day life in this part of the world. Each new show will have its own podcast feed, which we hope you'll join. And select episodes will also be featured on the regular Israel Story feed. This is all part of a major strategic evolution within Israel Story, and will be coming your way soon. But for now, we want to share a small story, one that gives us a glimpse into the altered reality that so many of us experienced during this latest 40-day war. Okay, here's our producer, Mitch Ginsburg.
You're feeling very big sistery?
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Suggesting things.
Telling me what to do. Not suggesting.
Suggestions, but with an exclamation point.
Yes.
Like what? Like when to eat?
No, when to eat is clear.
Okay.
When to eat is clear.
What to eat?
No. It's more like being proactive about finding a flight, getting on a flight, because it's a competitive game. And you have to somehow initiate certain actions in order to get on an allow flight when they're not begging for customers.
And you know about such things?
Well, it's just instinct that you should do something.
The slightly bossy big sister there is my mother. Maybe it's a sign of the times, and maybe just her natural inclination to avoid the personal. But when I asked her to introduce herself, she didn't mention any of the normal introductory material. You know, name, Carol Ginsberg, age, 83, occupation, retired kindergarten teacher. Instead, she immediately focused on her miklat, or bomb shelter.
Hi, I live in a building in Jerusalem, has a very big miklat. There are 8 families in my building, but the whole neighborhood likes our miklat, and so a lot of them come into our miklat when there's a siren.
Okay. And do you want to add that you're my mother?
Okay, sure. On the record, I'm Mitchell's mother.
Now, my mom's a lot of things. She's a lifelong student, a beacon of common sense, and has a steady hand on the wheel. But she views publicity as being in poor taste. And the discussion of any kind of feeling, really, as, well, gauche. So getting her to sit in front of a mic took some corralling. We'll get to that. But first, let's meet the rest of the crew.
Hi, I'm Grace Lauber. I'm Carol's sister, Mitch's aunt from New York.
And sitting right beside her...
I'm Saul Lauber, Mitch's uncle, visiting indefinitely.
For most of the first 14 years of my life, I grew up living across the street from my aunt and uncle, on either side of Radnor Road, in Queens, New York. Their narrow driveway was my basketball court. Their living room, my theater. When I was a kid, we were all quite close. My uncle, I recall, showed me how to take someone down with a forefinger pressed against their upper lip. This never came in handy, but I kept it as an option in my back pocket anyway. My aunt, who was 6 years younger than my mom, fed me barrels of rice pilaf. This also didn't serve me all that well over the years, but I fondly recall the many Friday night dinners we spent together back in the 70s and 80s. Until we packed up our house and left, almost overnight, to Israel. The decision, which I protested heavily at the time, was sudden and final. I wanted to stay with my friends and continue to play stickball in the park. But instead, I found myself in Jerusalem, attending a religious day school in a language I didn't really know all that well. Since then, I never really left. I served in the army, started my life, raised 4 Jerusalemite kids. But the relationship with my aunt and uncle was never the same. Despite their occasional visits, phone calls, and birthday cards, the number of days we've spent together can probably be counted on 2 hands. Until now. Until this war. Or maybe, I should say, until my dad, Herbie, or Zachariah, died in late January. Here's my Aunt Grace again.
I was shocked at hearing of Mitch's father's death. It was so sudden, so unexpected, and I felt very bad that I wasn't there for my sister, and particularly bad that I wasn't there for the Shiva. So I decided to come for the Shloshim.
That was on February 23rd. They were supposed to stay for a week and a bit. But 5 days into their visit, on February 28th, we woke up to this.
כרגע כל מדינת ישראל בערך יושבת במקלטים.
אחיי ואחיותיי, אזרחי ישראל.
The United States military began major combat operations
לשים קץ לאיום ממשטר האייתולות באיראן.
in Iran.
Iran has fired back, launching retaliatory strikes on Israel and targeting US military assets in the region.
Life here changed immediately. No school, no gatherings of over 50 people. And also, of course, no flights out.
And now we're kind of stranded here, hoping for the first flight out.
So there they were, the 2 elderly daughters of refugees from 1930s Vienna, hemmed in by the Homefront Command's instructions and yo-yoing up and down the stairs, carefully clutching the banisters on the way down to the bomb shelter. But more than being traumatic, it seems like my aunt and uncle were slightly enjoying all the action.
We did not anticipate that Shabbat morning that the sirens would go off and we're all running down to the miklat. But the miklat is, instead of something that is depressing or fearful, is a social event.
My Uncle Sal spent a year here in 1969 and has, sorry Sal, been talking about it ever since. So, being trapped here in the country during a war is, secretly I think, not such a disaster for him.
Everybody in the area is there. You have older people, younger people, babies, dogs, and it's nice to meet the neighbors.
My Aunt Grace also seemed more or less fine, admiring the respectful culture of the commandment, V'hadarta pnei zaken, thou shalt stand in the presence of the aged, that she encountered in the miklat.
There were always these 3 chairs that we would sit on, and no matter how late we came, because we were slower than the rest, those 3 chairs were waiting for us, which I thought was really respectful. Yeah.
But then, as the days piled up, the excitement dwindled. There were, to be sure, some moments of levity. 5 days into the war, for instance, we all celebrated Purim in the bomb shelter. Here's my mom again.
One young man said that he would be glad to read the Megillah for everybody. And I remember I had the parchment version of the Megillah. And so I offered him that, and he was very happy to accept. And since we were such a big crowd and everybody was interested, we decided we would arrange chairs in the parking area right outside the miklat and have a fresh air reading. And should there be an alarm, we would just go inside and finish the job. And it went off really nicely, really festively. He read beautifully. Everybody sang afterwards. It was a lovely evening.
Suddenly finding himself as the man of the house, Sal, my uncle, did his best to fill in with all kinds of things my dad used to do. Some kiddush, some havdalah, some reaching up to the high cabinets. And my mom, I think genuinely, appreciated it.
Well, my brother-in-law's been very helpful, actually gallant. Happy to do all the jobs that I can't do right now, heavy lifting and so on. So it would give me an opportunity to see him in a new way as a helper.
But just like any complex sibling dynamic, living side by side again brought back old tensions of the sort that can be brushed off when separated by several continents. The 2 sisters have always had a complicated relationship. Loving but distant. Alike, but seemingly at odds. Recently, during the course of this visit, I remembered how when I was little, my mom would refer to her younger sister Grace as Lenny, after the slow-witted character in Steinbeck's Devastating of Mice and Men. But here they were, 2 sisters, straddling their 9th decade of life, living under the same roof for the first time since JFK was elected to office. And with my mom newly widowed, and having to now use a walker to get around, there was a real role reversal going on.
It's always been the other way around. I've come to help her. I have solved her problems. And it's just natural. It started very early in childhood. I'm older. So I had been through many of the things that were troubling her. And it just became a habit that she would turn to me when she had troubles and I would work on the solution.
But now, things were different. And change is, well, hard. I got into the habit of visiting the trio, my mom, Aunt Grace, and Uncle Sal, most every night, and have been carefully observing the subtle ways in which their relationship was shifting. With a war being waged across our wintry skies, and in the wake of my father's death. As usual, nothing was said. Nothing was made explicit. Because, see, in my family at least, more or less any display of emotion is off limits. Even proclamations of love are frowned upon. Not to mention the occasional jab or gentle slight, or the suddenly visible vein of jealousy between, say, 2 sisters. So I asked my own sisters, nieces, and nephews, and a handful of cousins whether I should go there, into the rocky terrain known as Carol and Grace. Their answers were a firm nay. One of them suggested that it would be incriminating. That's actually the word he used. Others weighed in with voice memos.
Yeah, not touching that.
No comment from me at this time.
There is no way I'm getting involved in any of that.
My older sister Eve, the resident psychologist, who was boldly the only one willing to use her own name, said she thought the matter was largely generational, and that feelings that aren't discussed tend to harden. So, taking all that into consideration, I waded in gently.
When were the two of you the closest?
If you ask her, she'll say
When
never.
she was very young. Really,
Before she could talk.
She was an adorable baby. I remember.
She drew the line there.
And what about you? When do you remember the best time?
I always felt I was very close to her. Always. I always looked up to her and always felt protected when I was with her. I can still remember being very young, and at one point my mother left us with this very old lady as a babysitter. And although I was very young, I realized this is not a good babysitter for us. It's not safe. But I knew that Carol was there, and so I felt safe and protected. So I always felt close to her, despite the fact that it was not in return.
You told me recently that you cried when she got married.
Oh my God, I was in a state of mourning when she left.
Over the years, Grace had always sought to be near my mother.
I followed Carol everywhere she went. When we first got married, I went to Queens, a neighborhood close to where she was.
Also across the street, practically.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She moved to Kew Gardens. We lived at the tail end of Forest Hills and then moved to Kew Gardens. So we've moved everywhere she moved, and we stopped until the Aliyah.
Gardens, I think, was just opportunistic. We found a great apartment. Just happened to be a few blocks away.
Didn't
That's
happen
what
to
she
be.
told
That's
you,
crazy. Boy, that's off.
After we moved to Jerusalem, the two sisters maintained regular phone contact. But the distance, to me, seemed only to grow. I was secretly hoping, I think, that this forced cohabitation might be an opportunity, late in life, to mend the unspoken, decades-long clash of personalities. We discussed without really discussing.
Are you keeping the house clean?
I'm trying. I'm working hard at it. I've been given directions, and if it's not a direction, it's a clue. I've seen clues.
Like Post-it notes? What kind of clues?
No. I'm leaving the dishwasher open so you see, please put away the dishes, which I'm happy to do, but those are clues.
There were other subtle clues and surreptitious sentiments. My mom, for example, often calls her little sister Gracie. But, as Grace told me,
If I've done something that dropped water on the floor, it's Grace. Boy, psychologists would have fun with this.
But by the end of the visit, I did sense a real shift. My mom didn't show emotion, but her tone, at least to my ears, was softer.
It's an interlude where you're forced beyond your expectations to be in a place and to use it as an opportunity for spending time together, going out together, enjoying things together, meeting people together, and sort of taking part in each other's lives.
Last week, after finally realizing that their Air France tickets were not ever going to get them out of here, Grace and Sal managed to get an Israel flight to Athens. Shortly before she left, I cornered her in my childhood bedroom and was touched to see that despite the trouble of being here during a war, she was thinking mostly of my mother.
Well, there's a piece of me that's sad to leave her alone. I worry about her, particularly as she's a very avid walker, and with the sirens, it's difficult for her, I'm sure, to get into a safe place. And I'm very concerned about that, and disturbed that I kind of have to leave. And I'm sad at the whole situation.
Tears started to well up in Grace's eyes.
and I could cry. So, yeah, I feel bad that we're not together. I felt bad from the onset, and now I feel even worse because she's vulnerable and I'm not there with her. And it's really sad to see, although she's managing, I know she's going to be lonely. I know it won't be easy for her. And I'm far away.
My mother didn't hear Grace say all this. She was safely in the other room doing her online exercise class with Shlomit, the fitness instructor. But as Grace was getting ready to go, packing her bags and checking her reservation for the 20th time, I sat down with my mom and asked her to reflect on the imposed quarantine. Was there anything, I asked, that she wanted Grace, or Gracie, to hear when the piece came out? To my surprise, she spoke freely and poignantly.
Well, we were thrown together, and I would convey to her sincere thanks because of her willingness, first of all, to be with us for this terrible period and to attend the Shloshim in memory of my husband. Also, I would tell her my sincere thanks for all her help and goodwill and a desire to make my life as comfortable as possible and suggestions for future for me and thoughtfulness.
I wanted to know if traveling together through this strait of war and confinement had given my mother any insight into her younger sister's internal world.
She has always wanted to share my life, and I have always not been so willing to share my life. I really lead my life kind of privately. But here she was in the house and along with me on what I did, including whom I met and what we talked about and what we studied and what we enjoyed.
She pondered that for a moment, and then added, with a bit of a glint in her pale blue eyes,
I knew a lot about her, and she's always wanted to know exactly what I do and what I think and what I like. And now she knows. A lot more, yes, but not everything.
Okay. Grace, Ma, I'm saying a not-so-silent prayer here that you haven't listened all the way to this point. But if you have, I want to say something that we usually don't say in this family. I love you. And I loved spending the intense days of this war together. It's something I will cherish. Oh, my mom's going to hate that even more.
Mitch Ginsburg. Zev Levi scored and edited the story. This episode is dedicated to the memory of Mitch's dad, Herbert Ginsburg, who passed away at the age of 90 back in January and is sorely missed by us all. Okay, we're recording this in the midst of what feels like a very fragile ceasefire. So all I can say is that I hope we know calmer and quieter days to come. God knows we need them. I'm Mishi Harman. We'll be back in your ears soon. Until then, shalom, shalom, and yalla bye.
שלום אחות, אני בסדר, אין חדשות עדיין. זה מזג האוויר הזה, ובזווית העין. החלון אמנם פתוח, אבל לא נושבת רוח. יש שמיים בינתיים, אבל אין כוחות. חיפשתי שוב סיבות לשמוח, לא רוצה לבכות. אמרו לי תחכי רק לא אמרו כמה לחכות. מה רבנו, מה סבנו, מה נלקח ומה נתנו, כמה לכמה הגענו מעשר המכות. מאוחר וקשה לי לשיר, והלב כבר קשה להפשיר, על שדות מצפים לגשמים, על פרחים אדומים, על מידות רחמים, שמישהו ישיר במקומי. מעפר אני לוקחתי ואליו אשוב, כל מה שקרה באמצע לא מאוד חשוב, רק ימייר עפה של בית וחיוך אחד של ילד ושעה קלה של שקט, לבבי קשוב. מאוחר וקשה לי לשיר, והלב כבר קשה להפשיר, על שדות מצפים לגשמים, על פרחים אדומים, על מידות רחמים, שמישהו ישיר במקומי, שמישהו ישיר במקומי, שמישהו ישיר במקומי, שמישהו ישיר במקומי, שמישהו ישיר מצפים לגשמים, שמישהו ישיר במקומי, 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 שמישהו ישיר
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business. The business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.